Welcome back to Home Learning. The subject is computer science and your topic today is SQL or structured query language. We're going to go over to Mr. Halton who's going to tell you a bit about it, and then you've got a task and some exam questions to complete that will be reviewed by Mr. Barnes. Over to Mr. Halton.
When computers need to store a lot of information, they do so in something called a database. Now, a database has a lot of different tables of information in it, just like the one on the right hand side that you're seeing now. So this table here contains a lot of information about different types of cheeses, okay? But SQL is used like a programming language to pull out information from that table. And I'm going to give you a few examples to show how simple this is. But there's 3 words that I want you to remember above everything else that you might remember in this video, and that is select, from, and where. You can help remember them by the initialism SFW. So if you're doing things in databases, you are pretty sure they're going to be safe for work, okay? So select, from, and where. 3 very important words. And using these words, you can start to see how you can put together these things called queries to get information from the database. So let's say I wanted all cheeses which are over the price of £2, so over the price of 2. And I only want the names of those cheeses. I can do select name, because I just want the name, from cheese table being the name of the table that you can see here, where, and this is the bit where I can bring in my conditions, so where price is greater than 2. And if I do that, I'd expect to see Stilton, because that's £2.99, and Edam, because that's £2.19. They're both greater than 2. And I wouldn't expect to see any other sort of data, okay? But let's start seeing what happens if we start filling around with some of these conditions. So instead of select name, cheese table, and price, let's do select name and the colour. So I want 2 bits information now. So I'm going to do name, so I put comma in, name, comma, colour, from cheese table, where strength equals 2, all right? Now that will get me one result, which is mild cheddar, and then it will also give me the colour as well. So the result from this would be mild cheddar along with the colour, which is orange. So far so good. So we've got select, from, and where. We can do a little bit more than this though. So we can join 2 conditions together. So for example, I can do select, let's just keep it with name and colour. So select name and colour where strength is greater than 1. And, so I can use my Boolean words here, I can use and or, and colour equals yellow. And if I do that, there's only one cheese which has got strength greater than 1 and colour equaling yellow. Edam doesn't count, of course, because strength is 1, it's not greater than 1, and that is mature cheddar. So what I'd expect to see as a result is mature cheddar and then yellow, because I've asked for the colour as well here. Okay, on to these things called wildcards then. So there's a few shortcuts that you can take when you're querying data to make your life easier. So if I wanted all the information for one row, I can do this. Select and use the asterisk. So I'm going to select everything from cheese table where colour equals white. And if I do that, I would expect to get the whole line of information about Stilton. So it should be Stilton, £2.99, white, and 5, because 5 is the strength. I can also be sort of less specific, if you like, if I'm looking for names or any sort of words within a column. So if I wanted all the information from the rows that have a name that begins with the letter M, then what I can do is where name, like, and then I can do this. I can do M, so it begins with the letter M, and use the percentage symbol afterwards. And that means any name that begins with letter M and has any combination of letters and numbers after it. So mature cheddar and mild cheddar. And I expect to get all the data for that. And that is everything you need to know about SQL.
So now you've heard a little bit about SQL, you're going to now go and do a task whereby you'll use the table that is given to start selecting some records or start selecting some items from that table based on some SQL or structured query language. The final task that you'll be asked to do on this task is to write up your own SQL statement, and Mr. Barnes is going to review this task after you've completed it. So for this task, you've got about 10 minutes to complete it. Off you go. And that's time up for that task, so we'll go over to Mr. Barnes, who's going to go through the answers.
Okay, so let's have a look at this SQL task. We've got 4 parts to this task. 3 involve highlighting certain cells, and the 4th one involves writing an SQL query. So, the first task then says highlight the following cells yellow. Now, I don't have a yellow highlighter, but I do have an orange one. So, it says select ID from TBL cars, which is the name of this table, where manufacturer equals BMW. So the first thing to do is have a look for the manufacturer. Manufacturer BMW. Okay, we've got 1. But it doesn't say highlight the manufacturer, it says the ID. So I'm going to highlight the ID. There's no other BMWs, therefore there are no more cells to highlight for this activity. The next one says highlight the following cells red. Well, I don't have a red highlighter, but I do have a pink one. So this time it says select star. So star is a wildcard character, and that basically means on its own anything. So that means all the headings, all the fields. So where fuel equals diesel and cost is greater than 21,000. So we've got 3 diesel cars, and we've got 2 that are above 21,000. So I'm just going to highlight the entire row for each of these. Okay, because it says select star, all the fields. And then finally it says highlight the following cells green. I do have a green highlighter. So it says select the ID, comma cost. So we only want the ID and cost selected from the table where the body shape equals saloon. So we've got 1, 2 saloons. So it wants us to highlight the ID and also the cost. And there we go. The final part of the task says write the SQL query to display the manufacturer of all petrol cards that cost more than £13,000. So the key thing with any SQL query is there are 3 parts: select, from, and where. Okay. So the first thing we need to say is what we want to select. So it says display the manufacturers. We want to select the manufacturer. From, we need the name of the table, which is TBL cars. Where, we then have the criteria. So we want petrol cars that cost more than £13,000. So I'm going to say where fuel, because that is the heading, equals petrol. Notice I've put speech marks around petrol because it's a string and therefore needs speech marks. And I'm going to say and cost is more than 13,000. Note with 13,000 I've not got speech marks around it because it is an integer and not a string. So we've got select the manufacturer from TBL cars where the fuel equals petrol and the cost is more than 13,000. And there I've written an SQL query.
So finally it's over to an exam question or a few exam questions. You've got 10 minutes to complete these and then Mr. Barnes will check your answers. Please give it your best shot. Off you go. And time's up. Mr. Barnes, over to you.
Okay, so let's have a look at these couple of questions based on search criteria and SQL. So we've got a database table here. It's called products. The shop runs queries. State the product ID of the products above the above sample which fit the following criteria. Supplier equals Killies. So if we look at the supplier column, we've got Killies here. So the product ID would be 0003. And if we keep going down, we've got another one here, 0006. There's no other suppliers called Killies, so that would be the first question. Oh. So the next question says where price is greater than £1 or supplier equals Hill Farm. So the first one, let's go down. The first product, Hill Farm, is a supplier. The price is 98p, but because it's an or, we're going to write 0001. Go to the next one. We've got 2 litres of milk. That's Hill Farm, and it's £1.20. So it's one or the other or both. So I'm going to put 0002 because it meets the both criteria. Product 3 is 79p, so it's not more than £1, so we miss it, and it's not from Hill Farm. Product 4 is from Hill Farm, but it's not more than £1, but that's fine because it's an or. So we've got 0004. Number 5 is 99p and it's not from Hill Farm, so that doesn't count. Product 6 is from Killies and is 89p, so that doesn't count. Product 7 is from Moku Foods and 42p, so that doesn't count. Product 8 is from Moku Foods, but it's £1.45, so we need to record that one as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the mark scheme. Let's see if I can put it to the side. Okay, so for the first one, it says answer 0003, 0006, 1 mark for each. Bang. Okay, and for the second one, we've got 0001, 0002, 0004, and 0008. So we've got all them right. So it says award 1 mark if 1, 2, and 4 are all in the answer. So that's 1 mark. 1 mark if 2 and 8 are in the answer. And 1 mark if there are no repeated. So apologies, that first question was worth 1 mark and the second question was worth 3. Either way, we've got 4 marks. Okay, so let's have a look now at the second question. So it says write an SQL query which can be used to select all products which are not discontinued and where the quantity left is lower than the reorder level. So I'm going to write select, oh I've left purple on again, never mind, from, and I'm going to write it on the next line, where. So it says select all products. So to select all, we just simply put a star. From, we put the name of the table after it, which is products at the top of the question. And now it says where the product is not discontinued and where quantity left is lower than reorder level. So let's have a look at what discontinued looks like. That's true or false. So if not discontinued, we're going to be looking for false. So I'm going to write where discontinued equals false and. So it says the quantity left is lower than the reorder level. So at the top here we've got the quantity left and we've got the reorder level. So I'm going to write where and quantity left, and then I'm going to use the less than sign, and then I'm going to write reorder level. Okay, let's have a look at the mark scheme. Let's move that up a bit. So here is 4 marks. We get 1 mark for saying select star. Perfect. We get 1 mark from saying where it's from, the products table. We get 1 mark where saying where discontinued equals false. And we get 1 mark for saying and quantity left is less than reorder level. So we've got 4 marks. And there we go.
So that's everything you need to know for GCSE for SQL. Stay tuned for next time.